Well, today we're in Orono, Minnesota, up at the City Hall and Council Chambers, and what I want to discuss, the fourth biggest political lie of modern history.
During the 70s came Tricky Dick Nixon and the first big political lie of modern times.
And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Then in the 90s, we had Slick Willie and his illicit affairs.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
Moving to the second Bush administration, and we hear Colin Powell tell us all about the supposed WMDs in Iraq.
It was a regime that was determined, whatever they had on hand at the moment, they were determined to have the capability to develop chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons if allowed to do so.
The last and most egregious political lie of modern times comes from current Orono, Minnesota Mayor Dennis Walsh.
Just for a matter of transparency, I'd also like to ask who here attended the ethics training from the League of Cities that was offered when you were first elected. You did, Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, I did it way before that.
Actually, it contradicts with testimony I have in a transcript where you state you didn't.
That's not true.
We can see Walsh raising his hand right there in the middle like a kid who's in trouble. Well, I don't believe him, and I decided I was going to do just a little bit of research to see if he was telling the truth. So I put together this data request for the League of Minnesota Cities to investigate several important facts, including Bullet 2, does the League offer ethics training to newly elected officials? Bullet 3, what elected officials from the city of Orono attended this training from 2010 forward? And Bullet 4, do they offer ethics training for city staff? Well, first, I found out that no, they do not offer training for city staff or unelected officials in the ethics department. Looking at the Leadership Conference for Newly Elected Officials agenda from 2015, they supplied me as an outline for what their training is. We can see on page 2 at 10:30 on Saturday that they do have a section for an hour and a half called Making Decisions That Are Legal, Ethical, and Transparent. So we can see that this ethics training does support the ethics concept of being on a city council or a mayor. But most importantly, as we look at the list of attendees to the ethics training supplied to me by the League of Minnesota Cities, Dennis Walsh's name is absent, vacant, or whatever you want to say. He just wasn't there. He was elected in 2014 to city council, which meant he should have been there in 2015. Elected 2016 to mayor, and he should have been there in 17 or 19. But he chose not to attend any of these, yet he chose to raise his hand like a little kid because he saw other people doing and lie, not only to me, but to the people of Orono over whether or not he actually attended ethics training. Ethics training. How ironic is that someone would lie about attending ethics training? Well, to me, if someone's going to lie about that, who knows what else they're going to lie about? Well, I look at this obvious lie in a public forum, and I combine it with watching him perjure himself on the witness stand numerous times, as well as a painful deposition that all he did was lie for hours. And I could only determine that the definition of a weasel, which is a deceitful or treacherous person, fits Mayor Walsh quite well. And if you look at the verb, it says to achieve something by use of cunning or deceit. Well, given that I'm pretty sure Dennis Walsh is not very cunning, I got to assume that just about everything he does is through deceit. Thus, we are going to name Mayor Walsh Weasel Walsh.
Well, there it is. What else is there to say? It surely appears that the mayor of Orono appears to be the deceitful mayor of Orono, who we affectionately call Weasel Walsh, has chosen not only to lie to me, but to the residents of Orono about his ethics training. is ethics training. If someone's going to lie about ethics training, what else are they going to lie about? How much can you trust them? Well, I'll tell you this. I trust them about as far as I can throw this building right here. Was a Turbine Guy signing off till next time.
Just for a matter of transparency, I'd also like to ask who here attended the ethics training from the League of Cities that was offered when you were first elected.